Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Kim with K Monta's Art Studio, and join me as I fill a couple of spreads in my large sketchbook. This Moleskine A3 sketchbook is by far the most fun thing I've ever purchased. I love the liberty that it provides to create large and messy sketches. If you know me and you've watched my paint journey, you know that I love chaos when it comes to my art. And I think that a sketchbook is exactly what it should be, an opportunity to create chaos. A lot of my paintings are at times kind of neat, at times kind of messy. And this particular sketchbook allows for a combination of the two. The paper quality is extremely high. It withstands all types of mediums, in my opinion. This here is watercolor, and it has dealt with all sorts of paints from acrylic to gouache to watercolor, markers, which you'll see soon, oil pastels, and so many other mediums.
So I'm on the hunt to find a new series, and I'm just going to try to paint as many sheets as I can. I'm going to try to get through as many of these. I have about 17 spreads left in this humongous sketchbook, and this is my Moleskine A3 or A5 sketchbook. It's enormous. It's about 11 by 17. But this is the first sketch that I completed today. With watercolor, I used the Grand Tambi pan. This pan, I always forget how to say it, but I love this watercolor. So these are the materials that I'm hoping to use in the sketchbook to force myself to think outside the box. I do want to do a couple other materials or mediums, but as of now, I have color pencil, marker, I have some gouache, more watercolor types, I have my art graphs and oil pastels, and some highlighters. So we'll see where these take me. The only bad thing in trying to paint in this sketchbook is waiting for pages to dry. So sometimes this is why you have multiple sketchbooks going on, in order to be able to let the one page dry. Just have a little bit of water there. I tried to turn the page, but then I had some smudging, but it's alright.
I really challenged myself with this sketchbook session to try to break free from my typical landscapes, but of course I landed right back in my typical landscapes, and I was fine with it. Sometimes you just kind of have to take the defeat and just do what comes out of you. And I noticed that I was really just having so much fun, so I didn't want to limit myself to this box of trying to find a new style, and instead I just let things flow.
So this is page 2. I'm totally overworking this paper, but that's the thing that I like about this paper, is that you can really push it to the limit. Like right now, I added this little piece of gouache that I had left over from this pan. It was an orange piece that was stuck on, and how satisfying is this sound? So I started to scrub it in, and like you can tell when you push it to the limit because it like buckles, but and it starts to kind of shave, but it takes a lot of effort to do that with this particular paper, and that's why I really like this sketchbook page paper, whatever it's called. This one's kind of chaotic, but I was imagining a sort of desert storm. Okay, let me finish cleaning off my palette and I'll move on to the next page.
So, if you've noticed, I do a lot of my figure drawings without faces. And that's primarily because I don't like to draw faces. Maybe I'll do a challenge one day where I just do 100 different types of faces so I can get better at it. It's not that I am bad at it. This is pretty bad, but I just think that it's kind of creepy when I start to create them.
So portraits is a no-go for this new series. I don't know, I just was craving to create a portrait, and honestly, I hate it, so I'm gonna ruin it. I think I'm just not a portrait person. There's something just so creepy about drawing people to me, you know, because they have souls, and it's just weird. Yeah, so I'm just gonna try to scratch it out.
I did a self-portrait once when I was in high school, and I think that was the last time I did a realistic face. I'm not sure what it is about faces. Maybe it's just the eyes that kind of portray a feeling. I don't know. I like inanimate objects like landscapes and buildings, and some animals are fun to draw, but I don't know what that is all about.
What a crazy page. Honestly, these oil pastels are so much fun, but they're very limiting. They're very waxy, and they clean up well actually, because you can barely see the portrait underneath. They mix pretty good. I mean, they're kid oil pastels, so what more can you expect? Pretty good. Moving on to the next page.
Sometimes not having a reference is important to me. When I'm just having fun, I don't want to feel the constraints of a resource and making sure that I stick to that exact resource. So, whenever I'm in my sketchbooks, I take the liberty to do whatever I want, however I want. It doesn't have to feel like a masterpiece or anything that is worthwhile or anything that is considered good art. It's more so about fun and just like getting moving. So this little piece was kind of interesting how it was very chaotic but turned into something much more fun.
Okay, this is way out of my comfort zone. Such a creepy painting. I intended for it to be creepy. Just thinking of a weird abandoned building with weird souls in it just lurking throughout the building, and the lights being on with a weird sort of dark abysmal background that you can't really see what's happening back there, Maybe there's trees, maybe there's not. Then we have some landscape that's kind of like burnt. I don't know where that came from, but it did. It just came out. Alright, moving on to this page.
Art graphs are so fun. If you haven't gotten yourself a set of art graphs, it is one of my top recommended art supplies. They're so liberating. I love me a good, fun, fast scribble. I don't know what you would call it, but art graphs are so fun, right? And you have the three primary colors, which they do such a good job at mixing together and creating other colors. The green that it makes is perfect for landscapes. They also have a set of sepia tone colors, which are great for body sketching and figure drawing. I got these a while back and I always forget that I have them, but when I pull them out, I fall in love over and over again. And they're also water soluble, so whenever you find a good blend of colors, you can just dip your brush into water and kind of blend. And then they're smooth, they're very pigmented. And I also love doing what I'm doing here and kind of just wetting the page using the Conti stick and going for it. I think I might get the sepia color ones depending on how much they cost. They're a little pricey, but I think they're worth it.
Honestly, I forget how fun these art graph sticks are. They are like magical. They're so fun. This is, of course, not like the best painting, but how fun is it? Okay, day and night, creepy and not so creepy, kind of crazy. Moving on.
Figures. Figures really bring me back to my earlier days when I started painting at the age of 24. I was in so many shows with a bunch of my figures. I used to do live paintings with my figures, and I can honestly paint figures with my eyes closed. I feel like I know the anatomy of drawing a body figure in and out. And a lot of people tend to ask, how do you just do that without looking at a body? When you practice something over and over again, you kind of just know.
I'm so in love with this Conti stick slash art graph. Oh my god, I love these so much. I've done so far, like, it feels like a million pages. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spreads. I'm feeling a little bit over it. I still have a good amount of pages left, but I think I'm going to stop there. So let's give you a quick sketchbook mini tour of the pages I've done. Okay, so I didn't get to use every single material that I pulled out, but I used most of them. So the ones that I didn't get to use were the color pencils, the highlighters, and one of my watercolor palettes, but it's fine. I got a lot done in the past hour or two. So this one was with watercolor, and I love the sort of happy feeling that's happening here. And I love this accident that happened here too. This sort of bloom with the watercolor, love that effect sometimes. Sometimes it can appear as a accident, but in this situation, I liked it. A little smudging happened, but whatever, it looks good. This one here was a little weird in that I was using leftover gouache from one of my gouache palettes, and I only had limited color, so I just stayed to that. The only color I added here was this blue, just to give it a little bit of pop, but I was picturing a sort of desert storm happening, so it makes sense that it's very muted and kind of muddy. This here was an adventure, and you can see some of the transfer of the oil pastel, but this was truly an experiment in that I started off with my study of myself, of my face, and I hated it. I honestly hate drawing portraits. There's just something in me that desires to draw portraits, but I don't enjoy staring or having portraits stare back at me in some way. I have drawn portraits, but it's not my thing. I do enjoy when other people make portraits, but when I make them, something about it is just creepy to me. So I just scraped it all off and did a landscape instead with these sort of cheaper these cheaper oil pastels. Okay, so I did this one first, sticking to the creepy theme. I feel like I can deal with a creepy house over a creepy person. So I started off with the watercolor markers, and in the hopes that they would blend better, but they're cheap, they're low grade, nothing too precious. So that's when I thought about the Conti art graph sticks, and I remember that these blend really well, and so I tried that. Things got extremely muddy, and I also pulled out my what are these called? These are actually called Mood Clue Express Yourself. Nothing of high quality. These are actually erasable liquid chalk markers, and I just pulled them out to play around, and the black kind of worked with the creepy vibe, with these creepy little figures that I imagined to be in the building. But I was trying to experiment with a building, nothing too crazy. This is total opposite, much more happy, sort of kind of chaotic, but again with the art graph sticks, having fun. And then the last one, a figure, of course. There's something so beautiful about just drawing figures and just leaving them sort of bare and vulnerable. I prefer to draw figures over faces, so most of my figures, and I've been drawing figures for years, almost a decade now, and it just comes so easy to me to understand the anatomy. So although she may appear to be sort of out of proportion, she is ideally how I can picture the angle of this to be. So whenever I'm drawing figures from memory, it's easier because I've been drawing them for so many years. So that's my quick sketchbook tour. I hope that you enjoy this little video. I don't even know where I had planned to go with this. I kind of just wanted to experiment with different mediums and see if anything would come out of it. At the moment, I don't think anything did come out of it, but it was fun. I'm still experimenting. I think I need to continue to explore different styles and different arts, but we're almost at a sketchbook tour. I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 10 spreads left, which is actually much more exciting than I thought. I've had this sketchbook for years. Officially, I think for several years. Look at all of those. Can't wait to show you. Okay, I need to go wash my hands. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. I don't know what this was, but see you in the next one.